Radio.
Open Comms Radio. You're here with Tav and Josh. JarJar. What? Who? Shit. I did it wrong. Tav, can you do it?
Did you hear the open comms with Tab and JarJar?
I'm JarJar.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, see?
Oh, gosh. I was told by someone who gives me good advice, who listened to the first episode, they were like, you have to introduce yourself. Like, you can't just start talking.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah, you're well practiced at this. I'm a relative novice at this podcast stuff.
Novice. If you say it, French. You say it French and you'll be fine, dude.
Added expertise.
Well,
Yeah,
Star Citizen Open Comms Radio Comm Show. We rely on callers like you to call on in, and we'll talk about whatever you want to talk about with Star Citizen. We'll talk about all the things good and bad and fantastic and spacey, and why are there still no aliens in the game? Things like that.
Love it. No aliens. Well, we got some crawlies now.
Little creepy crawlies. We have the Copions.
Crawlies. Yeah.
Who people call dogs.
There'd be life. Such an empty universe.
I know.
But we're getting there. Do you want to go dive right into your question? Or kind of like
the main question for today?
Yeah, the question of the day.
Question of the day, if you're calling in. Frontier fighters. What did I write? Frontier fighters, foes are framed.
Yes. I'll say is it enemy. I see. I don't know anything. I'm very unqualified to talk about this because I don't know anything about the lore outside from the they were what, chaotic good frontier fighters. Is that?
Oh, if you're putting it on that little chart, that little meme chart. I don't know. I'm not into those meme charts.
Well, are they? I heard other people don't want to join them because they're crazy, right? Isn't that what you always say? The other.
So a bunch of people, I think they're nuts. A bunch of people were saying that, like, a bunch of people who joined the Frontier Fighters. Now all of a sudden, not all of a sudden, but they're defending them. They're like, no, they're framed. Citizens for Prosperity is Hurston. Now the thing is about that though, is when you first join Citizens for Prosperity, it's like humanitarian shit.
Okay.
They're like, deliver some food. There's these people out there. They just don't. They're getting bullied. Give them some stims. And then you go to phase 2. And then you go to phase 2, and it's like, oh, these terrorists are out here terrorizing. Go. And it's Xenothreat. I think you're killing like Xenothreat, so it's okay.
All right. Well, I still gotta do phase 2. I did a little bit with somebody else, and I saw all these. I was like, oh, multi-leg mission. Okay.
Who are you doing?
All right. So yeah, I confess I went headhunters.
All right. Yeah, but that's honest.
Yeah, it was.
You're upfront about it.
It paid the most at the time, frankly. Like that was the.
Oh, did it really?
Yeah, it paid the most. That's kind of most of the missions in Pyro. I've noticed a lot of them. Well, at least for me, it kind of petered off a bit. Maybe it was only when you're switching sides, but yeah, they paid a lot for just go to a place and remove everybody.
Yeah. You're swatting in. You get that cool purple armor at the end. I get it.
Exactly.
Were any of them broken? Did they all work for you?
Yeah, the phase 1 stuff. Yeah. I didn't have any problems.
Yeah, phase 1 was just
probably got lucky, but
but you haven't even started phase 2. Phase 2 is where I ran into my problems.
Oh well, yeah, that would probably be where I start seeing them.
If you're doing Citizens for Prosperity, phase 2 missions, it's Shepherd's Rest is broken, so you can't go there. It doesn't spawn the interiors of the buildings. and then you can't kill like the last couple people.
Shepherd's Rest, isn't that where all the hot, isn't that heavily trafficked?
You're thinking about Shepherd's Chest.
There's a what?
That's the nightclub.
No, I'm thinking of Shepherd. I think I'm thinking of Shepherd's Rest, where the PvP griefers usually hang out, chill. I don't know. I feel like I always find combat there. Maybe I'm just.
Well, nobody was there because there were no building interiors.
Um,
So it's just a total bust. You go there, you can like see through the windows, and it's just like a gaping hole. And then I walked up to it in case like it didn't load, and it was just a hole. It happened like 3 or 4 times.
Disappointment.
Yeah. You know what else is disappointing? We have no callers.
Yeah, I know. We're gonna have to like send messages.
You want to call? No, if you want to call on the show, is anyone even watching?
I don't know.
I don't know.
If
you
you're
want to
watching,
call,
join us.
if you're watching, call into the show. Well, we'd love to have you.
Oh wait, we got caller waiting.
Look. Oh, okay, we got one.
Caller
All right.
waiting.
All right, here we go. What you got to ask him the question, Tav.
Oh, the question. All right. I'm prepared.
You got it?
I'm
Oh
prepared.
shit! Hold
I
on.
can do my job this time.
Wait, we forgot to play the theme song.
Dun, 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 dun.
Da-da-da-da-da-da.
Just immediately.
Wicked, welcome to OpenComms Radio. You're on with Tav and JarJar.
Hey, well, thanks for having me. Long-time listener, second-time caller.
Love it.
Absolutely love it. We do have a question, Wicket. Tonight's question for you is Frontier Fighters, foes or framed? What's your take?
Well, I feel framed because I supported those fuckers, and then we find out that they're actually the ones that were the slicers who invaded our hometown, Stanton.
Right.
And we find out that they're the ones behind all the slicer terrorist attacks.
What?
They had an open jihad on Stanton, and I supported those guys by killing their enemies. So I feel like I'm framed. I hope the rest of the lawful citizens of Stanton don't hold it against me. I was duped. I'm just,
Now, are you saying this because you realize Pyro actually sucks and you want to take a hot bath?
Well, I always come back home. I just dip my toe in Pyro, and then I don't like staying more than a night or two in the Pyro, because the Pyro is dirty for sure.
Pyro is fantastic.
The other thing I'd like to talk about is I think there's a new conspiracy going on. I've been trying to drink some Cruz Lux and Pyro, and this isn't that manufactured pseudo Cruz Lux. This is like Cruz Lux from Stanton, from a good source.
What color? It's yellow, right?
Cruz Lux is. What do you mean? What color?
What color is it?
What kind of question is that?
It's the Lux color.
It's Lux.
It's yellow, right?
It's highlighter yellow.
Highlighter yellow. Yeah. Okay. I don't know what you're getting all upset about. I said it was yellow.
Listen, I know how you're a fan of purple, which everybody's allowed bad taste. You're allowed.
Mm-hmm.
But I've been trying to get my character to drink. I'm down to 76% hydration. I feel faint, and I don't want to pass out in Pyro.
Mm-hmm.
Wake up in a dirty scrub gown or some shit.
Not knowing where you are, what happened.
In any event, I can't drink, so I might have to go back to Stanton so I can drink.
Yeah, are you playing right now?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Is your helmet on?
My helmet was off. Now it's on.
Checking.
But I can't, there's some kind of magnetic demagnetization or some shit going on where my character can't hold his Lux bottle, which, I'm a big supporter. I'm a big supporter of Dr. Cruz and the Cruz family.
Have you tried taking it out of your inventory and just dropping it on the ground?
I'll try that.
That is how I have had to drink in Pyro.
Yep.
you know what? It just worked.
Hot dang.
Yeah, oldest trick in the book there. Drop
You know
it on
what?
the floor.
That's why I call into this show. There's so many mad lads here; they'll always figure it out.
Yeah.
The old guard.
I forgot all about that.
Yeah,
You know,
we've been
because
through
normally
this.
it always happened on a Cuddy Black, and I wasn't in a Cuddy Black, but you know, these shithole stations in Pyro might as well be dilapidated Cuddy Blacks.
It's always the most like thing you don't think of that's the weirdest, or like I guess the most obvious workaround. You know, I was stuck at checkmate spawning behind people that were, I guess, getting out of bed before me. And if you spawn after them, you're stuck in that bed. You can't really move. It's like a little casket. And I would just hang out there for like an hour waiting for the person in front of me who would just like never move. And then the other day somebody was like, why didn't you just backspace? I was like,
No, you can't do that, dude.
that's a thing.
No.
God,
That's
I
a
know.
coward's way out, dude.
Breaks my immersion.
Breaks
Well,
my immersion, yeah.
I mean,
My
if you're
immersion.
if you're in a Armistice zone, you're just going to backspace, and all your stuff will be in inventory. It's not like you're losing anything. I mean, it's like putting a bottle of Cruz Lux on the ground. It's like putting a Cruz Lux on the ground. I mean, it's the same thing.
No.
And
I couldn't agree more with you. I couldn't disagree more with you.
I just figured out why I forgot
I
about
couldn't
that. Why I forgot about that whole workaround about putting the bottle on the ground and then picking it up to drink. It's
Why's that?
because how dare you throw Cruz Lux on the ground? Unbelievable.
Oh yeah, Tav. This is
The
a good time
propriety
for the ad.
stacking. Oh yeah. Go for our sponsorship.
No, you got it.
Oh, all right. Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Cruz Lux. Drop it on the ground first. You can do it.
Nice.
Some
That was
Cruz
really
Lux and some father beans.
What are father beans? I
I
picture
don't
those
know.
coming from a can.
Something I heard Anthony Hopkins say one time sounded cool.
I'm on an exclusive
For the
diet
Cruz Lux
of
and some father beans.
worms.
Well, he didn't. Just the bean part is what he
Oh.
said. He was eating like he was cannibalizing people.
Oh man. So I can't even play the game right now. I'm locked out. Crashed in the Asian servers.
What do you mean you're locked out?
Crashed
Well,
out.
I might be locked in
out.
now, but
Like,
yeah,
Oh, it won't let you log in?
won't let me log in. It might now because that was a couple hours ago.
Well, if it doesn't work, I've had success with the character repair lately. Now, I've like 3 or 4 days ago, I had to do a character repair, but I had to do it 3 times, and there's an hour cooldown.
Mm-hmm.
So it took 3 hours, and then it finally worked, and I could finally log back in.
Yeah.
But I didn't
That's
lose
the same
anything.
thing.
All my stuff was still there.
Oh really? Well,
Yeah.
I lost everything anyway because my ship blew up.
Maybe it was a pretty dogged affair. After that JarJar. I mean, we had I think it was mission accomplished for the ground team, but I had very little success. You ever seen like that asteroid scene in Star Wars where like Han Solo like ducks behind an asteroid and the TIE fighters
Never
all
tell me the odds.
slam into the asteroids, like yeah, it was totally the TIE fighters. I feel like we were just dropping like flies in there.
Oh
It's like, oh, he's
no.
right behind this asteroid. I was like, oh, I'm down. Oh no, gosh, we're losing. We just lost 2 more.
Oh no, dude.
Were you guys up against the Phoenix, a Saber Phoenix, or something like that?
No, it was just a little hornet with an eclipse running around. But they were playing well, and when those asteroids will come out of nowhere. It happened to me twice. That's the crazy thing. Like even expecting it the second time, it's like, oh, shame on me. Like I literally died to this last like 15 minutes ago.
Yeah, sometimes the visibility in those asteroid areas is just ridiculously low. You constantly have to ping to get the outline of everything. But anyway.
Yeah. So we do have some comments actually. on our YouTube.
We have comments.
We have comments. Okay. Now
Oh.
we got some subs. We got some
can
subs
take
on the YouTube. The
Are you
best part.
monetized?
No, we're not monetized. But the best part is our subs. We don't know them, so people listened
No
and
shit.
subbed. And then we got a couple of comments from Frazzlecat, and it's a response to Duke when Duke was talking about the pool tables. Duke said that the pool tables. He said that don't make any pool tables because Sig's never going to make the pool tables, so get rid of them, take them out of the spaceships. And Frazzlecat said, I agree. The physics alone, I suspect, are too resource hungry. Hit the ball, that ball hits another ball, those balls hit other balls, and they move through at like X speed and so on. I would prefer to have many smaller games.
It'd have to be like its own compartmentalized mini game within the game for it to have any hope. And even then, like, pool tables, guys.
Well, think about it this way: if you're in the game and you have enough time to play pool, what are we even doing anymore?
I get what they were trying to do because he wanted to have people have stuff to do in between these long jumps. I think was the whole Chris Roberts' vision for it was like give them something to do, throw on a chessboard.
Well, that's all kind of cool if you want to make Machinima or some kind of in-game movie or something, but if the jumps are going to take that long, where you have a time to play pool, the jumps are too long.
Yeah, but I'd also like to play cards with you guys, and if you could do that in Star Citizen, just like in a hab or in a ship or something, like that'd be cool.
In between jumps could be cool. I mean, I killed a ton of time just because when somebody has like all the little cargo containers on their ship, I spend so much time back there like sorting through the cargo containers. Like, I imagine if you add in like hygiene, showers, food, there'd be all sorts of, I guess, kind of maintenance stuff to do. I mean, obviously when you add in engineering, I just think there could be a lot to do that would make it less boring. Which it was forever ago, this interview with Chris Roberts, but he wanted the time not to go down, just the travel to be less boring.
Well, I just think make the travel less, or make you have to stop to refuel, stop to do something. I mean, if we're gonna get to that level of simulation where you have time to play pool, cards.
Right.
I mean, it'd be fine. Like if you had a pool table on I guess the place where it makes sense is if you're landing and you're going to be grounded for a minute, and you're RPing or something, and you want to sit down at the poker table or play a round of billiards, or I guess that's one way of looking at it, but having it there for the specific reason of, we want to kill time while we're traveling, then the traveling is taking too long. Because at the end of the day, we're not trying to simulate life. We're trying to have, a pseudo simulation. But I think, well, in my mind, it's a pseudo simulation, but it's more a game than anything.
And I liked it in Fallout, like the old games, like Fallout, Fable. I guess Red Dead has it because I don't play. But like I like it in those games, and I like going into the game and just sitting down and playing like a card game. Like I have like solitaire and stuff on my computer, but I'd like to be like in the sci-fi ambiance and do that.
Well, I get that, but like in Red Dead, for example, you specifically go to play poker, for instance. You sit down and you play poker. It's an activity in the game.
Yeah.
It's not something to kill time in a ship that's flying between the stars, or in a solar system and making a jump.
Right.
It's not like when if you take a stagecoach ride, or you ride on the back of somebody's wagon and somebody's conveying you to somewhere else. You're not going to sit there and play cards in the back. I guess you could if you wanted to, but it just doesn't take that long. Because at the end of the day, you're still trying to play a game. I mean, you guys are old enough now. I mean, I'm older, so you just folks, especially like imagine somebody that's playing this game and they have X amount of time to play. They've set aside 2 or 3 hours a night. That's all the significant other will give them, or that's all the time they can spare away from work or family or whatever their other real life activities may eat up their time. Now they've set aside X amount of time. Do you really think that they want to play a game where it takes so long to go to travel anywhere that you got time to play pool? And your activity is going to be playing pool? I don't think so.
I think it's just a matter of if it's rewarding. Like so many people play the game. I just know now, like if they're traders, like people throw up a YouTube video and they enjoy doing that, like space trucking like that, or like a podcast and then they'll space truck. So I think they enjoy some of the, and if there's more stuff to do, whether it be engineering, sorting cargo within a ship, yeah, I think it would take a. I don't think it takes too long right now. I mean, there's some jumps in Pyro that are like, okay, yeah, it'll be a minute before I get there, but most of it I feel like is for if they're trying to hit.
I mean, right
spot,
now,
they're
but
pretty close.
But imagine when we have, like, they want to open 1.0 with 5 systems. So imagine Pyro's a pretty big system, and maybe some of the other systems will be even bigger. And travel times inside the systems are going to take time. And let's say you want to go 3 systems over. Well, the wormhole where you come into system 1 is going to be on one side of the solar system, and you have to travel all the way across, jump into another solar system, travel across that next, and so on and so forth. I see where at that point, yeah, you have time to play pool, but would you really want to?
Yeah, but it makes the universe feel big too, though. Like if I only have like 2 hours for a night, and if it is one mission and it takes a while to get there, and if I got loot that is like that I'm pretty happy with, and I get back, I'll have a real sense of like, I don't know. I do think there is a sense of accomplishment on the other side of the coin for.
Yeah, like doing what, and not everything you do is going to take forever. Like maybe that's just for like if you're really traveling. Because imagine you're going from Stanton to Nix to all these other systems. You're not going to be doing that every day.
Yeah.
Unless that's like your specific gameplay. But also, what I was thinking about was in Fallout New Vegas, there's a game called Caravan. You know that game?
Not familiar.
In New Vegas?
I remember
It's basically it was like a competitive card game, and you would go around to different characters, and some characters they'd be like, you want to play around a caravan, and you'd play against all the different NPCs, like fucking Pokemon. I'd like some of that in this game.
Well, I guess at the end of the day, time will tell whether it's relevant or not, because we really don't know what a lot of this is going to entail. Who knows? The way engineering is working is they're talking about engineering. There's fire extinguishers everywhere. Some of these ships, man, maybe if they have to do long jumps, maybe they'll start falling apart, and you'll be running around constantly fixing shit just to make it across the system to the next jump point. Who knows?
Well, I know one thing. We do have another caller here with us.
Yeah, I see a stray Sisu down there, a Duke Sisu.
I'm gonna pull him up.
Well, I can be done unless you want me to hang out.
You can hang out if you want. We're cool.
It's like a big couch, We just gotta, you greet them.
All right.
Just scoot over.
All right.
Duke, you're on Open Comms Radio with JarJar and Tav, your radio show for Open Comms, baby.
Welcome back, caller.
Welcome back, Duke.
Glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Duke, did you see that Frazzlecat commented on your take?
No. Where was this?
On your hot take on the YouTube.
I did not see this.
Yeah. Frazzlecat agrees with you.
I mean, obviously, he sounds like a very reasonable person with a name like Frazzlecat.
We were talking about the pool tables.
Yeah.
But first, actually, we have a question for you. Tav, what's the question?
Oh yeah, our question for tonight, which is the Frontier Fighters foes are framed, and how would you frame it?
Foes, definitely foes. I mean, it was pretty obvious from the moment that they cropped up and showed their ugly faces to the Star Citizen universe that they were definitely going to be foes. I mean, they're fanatics. I mean, I'm enthusiastic about certain things, but when it reaches the level of fanaticism and I mean, their stated goals from the very beginning was to kill everyone in Pyro. So I think it was pretty obvious.
Are they preferable to the headhunters?
No. I'd say the headhunters. They might be a little rough around the edges. They're not exactly everyone's friend, but they still, they have a code. They're not out there trying to kill everyone. They're at the end of the day, they're just businessmen. They're trying to make a buck. They're trying to expand their holdings, but they're not going to kill everyone out there because that's bad for business.
Love it.
I like the way you think.
Me
No,
too.
you'd be the first.
Well, I'm just saying that because I'm afraid of you now. That's very cold, very calculating.
That I mean, I am Duke Leto the second. That's just part of the gig.
That's the worm.
That's right. You don't get to be the God
Spoilers.
Emperor by being wishy-washy. You got to be cold. Got to be calculating.
So, Duke, what do you want to talk about today? What brings you here?
Gosh, what brings me here is I couldn't stay away. That's it.
Okay.
Stimulating
Also,
conversation.
completely acceptable answer.
All right. So we've never had so many callers before, and I think we have another one. I'll just pull him up.
We got a big couch.
You want to pull him up?
Pull them
Yeah,
up.
pull them up. Pull them up. More the merrier.
All right, let's pull him up.
Yeah. Hey, can y'all hear me?
BroccoliRob.
What's
Welcome,
going
BroccoliRob, to Open Comms Radio. You're here with Tav and JarJar and Wicket and
Welcome
Duke
back, caller.
Leto the second. He's a worm.
Very cool. What's going on?
Reworm.
How's it going?
It's going good. We have a question for you tonight.
Oh, sorry, got an alarm going.
Oh,
Yeah, hit me.
All right,
Tav,
Broccoli, what's your take on the old Frontier Fighters? Friends, foes?
Oh,
Friends
they
are
were
framed.
They were foes 100% from the beginning. I was trying to call that out from the jump. If a shady organization tries to offer you money to commit genocide, you should not believe that they are the good guys.
Seems pretty
That's a good
consistent.
point.
They were honest in everything that they said. They just took on a different name. Like nothing about them really changed. They still wanted to just kill a bunch of people. So they were honest in that regard.
The headhunters were, I think, the most honest, though.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they know what they're doing. They're the most local. It's kind of business as usual for them. They're down to protect Pyro instead of purge it or reclaim it. Yeah. And I mean, Citizens for Prosperity, another group that I think is a lot more evil than they're letting on. But that's, for a different time. We're going to talk about the Frontier Fighters now.
No. You can
I like
spread
how
your negative
headhunters
propaganda here.
Getting painted
Yeah.
here.
So a ex-accountant of Hertz Dynamics, someone on the money side, decides to start a nonprofit specifically to attract commercial interest to Pyro. How is Hertz not involved? I don't even think they're going to try to hide it. I mean, Hertz just obviously is involved in that.
Well, I mean, so what, man? Hurston, I don't get killed in Hurston.
Well, that depends on who you are.
Well, I mean, it just goes back to, we talk about the honesty of the different groups. I mean, are we judging our foes on their honesty or on the things that they do? I mean, you can say that the Frontier Fighters were honest and upfront, but if a serial killer is honest and upfront about being a serial killer, they're still a serial killer at the end of the day. I'd rather have a somewhat untrustworthy organization bent on bringing, peace and prosperity at I wouldn't say at any cost, but they're trying to get in there.
Yeah.
Like we were saying earlier, they want to expand business, and that means bringing in manufacturing, it's families, it's jobs. You know, it's still the better course for a lot of people.
Do you think we're gonna get the like official numbers on this?
He left.
Yeah, BroccoliRob left us. It's okay.
Shut down. We don't want to do that frontier fighter propaganda.
He
in here.
couldn't handle it. He couldn't handle the heat. He's a Skullboy sympathizer.
Oh well, that means you know what? We have room on the couch.
There's a waiter. There's somebody waiting.
There's. I was gonna say.
It's
I
my
got the
guild
whole
leader.
round table ready for.
Bring that guild leader in.
It's your guild leader.
Yeah.
All right. Murphy Jack, you're on with JarJar and Tav, Open Comms Radio, your call-in show to call in things about Star Citizen and say what you want to say.
Welcome back.
They're framed.
That's the answer to the frontier.
They're totally
fighters,
framed.
Okay.
Because okay, well, there's two ways to look at this, right? It's this is our first time being asked to help them. Their slicers wear brown, not black.
Wow, yeah, that's
Wow,
deep.
that's what a defense.
Holy crap! I hadn't considered that.
Plus,
It's not possible for them to wear different colors.
Why-
So
why would the slicers?
shut this whole thing down?
Why would they go through all the trouble of developing
Changing their color.
their own paint, a logo, and everything
Mhm.
to try and just throw us off that they're really the bad people?
Why would
I don't see
CIG
it. It's
go
a
through
waste.
all the trouble of making specific
Maybe-
bathrooms for alien races that don't exist in the game if they weren't going to provide us
Maybe
with
one of the slicers
alien
was
bathroom
playing
gameplay?
Grand Theft Auto 4, and they did the trick of getting their car painted while they're running from the cops, and they were like, "Shit, this is it. This is how we do it."
They're framed. It's going to come out. It's going to come out. They're going to be
All
the
right.
champions in the end.
All right, let's say that they're framed, right? And they're definitely not the slicers.
Mm.
Frontier fighters are just frontier fighters, who they said they were from the very beginning. I would argue they are still the bad guys.
Well,
Is the outcome of this narrative based, obviously, and not based on, I guess, collectively how these missions play out, or who picks who as a side?
Well, right now, if you're doing the missions, you have no choice but to go against the frontier fighters because both of the missions that are available now in this current phase of the event
are against frontier fighters.
are against the frontier fighters. So whether you were for them or against them, which I was for them because they had the best paint job and the best armor, I thought.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. That's probably why a lot of us picked it.
Yeah.
But
So that begs the
in
question:
story,
did CIG make that choice because of narrative reasons they already had, or did they base it on, the number of players playing all the different factions, and they were like, "All right, looks like frontier fighters are losing, so now we're gonna go with this narrative arm that we have set up." I'd be curious to know if they're doing it that way, if they had, trapdoors set up for each faction, or if they were just like, "Nah, these guys are the slicers from day one."
I think they had it all planned out from day one, and there's
Yeah,
probably going to be even more stuff happening as it progresses. If they're smart about it, there will be anyway.
You want to know how far down I've thought about it? I even think the frontier fighters are going to end up being this faction from Nyx, and either way they go with this, either they're framed or the foe is going to be the introductory gang to Nyx, like the new Nyx thing.
You
Maybe
think
not,
so?
but I don't know. I could see it happening.
I mean, I think it's a little cheesy that everyone's being forced into the same mission track now, because it's kind of like, other than to give us the skins, why let people choose then?
Right. That's why I'm curious to know if if this was the only plot that they had, or if they did have, 3 plots chosen out, and then just wait to see how things progress. And then, because it's the same thing with the elections, right? Like they said that when we had the elections for what you call it, Imperator.
Dude, you're
that-
so old.
I know, right?
Nobody remembers the elections.
Yeah, they had the elections, and they were like, "Oh yeah, like these elections are going to have an effect on the narrative going forward."
Oh.
It's possible.
Well, no matter what happens, I think it's high time that they started using some of this talent they have on staff to develop these storylines and to have these narrative style missions, that choices
true.
matter. And I hope, like right now, the choice that we made doesn't really matter at the end of the day. The only outcome was the skin you got, right? And
I mean, there's some moral choices there too, but we won't get into that.
yeah, but whether they're moral or immoral choices, it doesn't really matter because it had no impact so far that we can tell on
I mean,
the
it had
story.
impact on that NPC's family that you murdered.
Really?
Bro.
No one ever thinks about the henchman. He's got a family.
You're going too deep, dude.
So I've thought about this because in Star Citizen you can just get revived.
True.
So it's like, well, then is murder like that bad? Because like if she knew I could come back to life, my wife would kill me. You know?
Well, I think that's something that they definitely they're gonna have to dive into at some point, right? Because where we are with reviving and everything now is supposedly a placeholder. So in the future, can everyone revive? Or are we, like in EVE Online, are we part of some elite level, of human beings that are able to live indefinitely?
Maybe that's the citizen.
One other thing, though, with this, and I've heard it from multiple people. Broccoli's in the waiting room, by the way. I've heard it from multiple people.
Oh, he dropped out. He can wait. He can wait a minute.
That there was really no good choice to make in this, because after that video that CIG put out, a lot of us felt like the three factions are all kind of shitty. But that's why I think some people went Frontier Fighter, because there wasn't a lot about them. Like some people are saying CFP is, a branch of Hurston, and the Headhunters are your straight up pirates. So I did hear a couple people say they picked Frontier Fighters because it seemed like it was in the middle and wanted to, kind of go their own path, even though it's a little murdery. But so there's also that aspect of it.
Little murdery.
We got Frazzlecat in chat about the coming back to life stuff. So there are a limited number of re-sleeves, I guess, like revives. And a traumatic death will cause echoes that degrade your clones.
Right. Yep. I remember
That's
those
the lore.
talks.
Yeah.
But
I mean, there's a lot of good lore, going back to the first Death of a Salesman. But we definitely know that they're going to go back and forth on that stuff.
You said salesman, buddy.
You what?
BroccoliRob, you're back in the chat, BroccoliRob.
Hey, I got to yield my time.
Hey.
I got to leave. But good chatting. Catch you on the next one.
Thanks for coming in.
Thanks, Murphy.
Their frame. Bye.
Good. I'm glad we got that opinion out of here.
Yeah, right. Yeah, sorry about that. I was testing my kitchen safety. Used a little too much olive oil, got a little too hot, and had to, you know how it goes.
We were talking about coming back to life. Is it okay to murder somebody if they can come back to life?
Did you have to get that fire extinguisher out of your ship to put out the fire?
Luckily not. That tech was not needed.
Thankfully, it never actually caught fire because fires haven't been implemented yet.
Yes, exactly. So the tech to revive. So you're saying is it murder?
Yeah.
I think if the intent to do harm like that is there, then I think it should be treated as murder, because you're not necessarily going to guarantee that they're going to come back to life. So they could
can
have
guarantee. What if it's just a guarantee? Like
Well, you're murdering a part of them because it only in lore like updates you to the last point that you updated your echo.
That's crazy.
So if I haven't updated my echo in 5 years, then suddenly all the 5 years worth of memories are just gone.
But do you get your
Am I
body
also-
from 5 years
Am I
ago?
also, right? Am I 5 years younger? Because that sounds like a great deal.
I don't know.
I'd open
I
a
don't
business where I
think
I'd
so.
kill you,
Yeah, right.
like a rejuvenation program.
Well, the whole thing about cloning and resleeving or respawning as it is kind of an ethical quandary at best, because if you think about it, depending on how the lore is going to be implemented in this particular game and how it's been implemented in other games, if you have a clone, right, and your consciousness or your memories are put into that clone. Now those memories, if it's instant, if you don't have to re-record yourself all the time, if it's instant like it is now in the current alpha of the game that we have, as soon as you wake up, you know everything you knew and you have everything you had, and you just wake up in a new body in the bed and you got your little dress on. But if you're doing it the way you guys are describing, where you have to record you have to get like an imprint, even when you die and it reloads that imprint at the moment of your death, it's just reloading a recording of you. It's not really you anymore.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Well, what if you're always just a recording of you? You have no soul anyway.
That's a possibility.
Yeah, that brings up the idea of like what is self and like is that you?
Yeah, there's a bunch of
Well, it sort of goes into like, what if they're using like the Ansible, was it called the Ansible technology from Ender's Game? So therefore, like you're literally constantly connected, constantly updating it. So in essence, you're living two lives. You are in your physical body, and then your consciousness is also existing in a digitized state simultaneously, no matter where you are in the universe. So as soon as your body dies, it just prints out a new body, sticks your brain in there, and off you go.
Too bad it does.
Yeah.
That whole Ansible thing is based, I think, on quantum entanglement. But
are we going to get into real science discussions about a video
quantum
game?
entanglement is misunderstood usually.
Quantum entanglement is when you're in your hangar and then someone else is also in your hangar. And
No, that's cunnilingus.
It's when you can hear another hangar, but you can't see it.
It's when you can hear another hangar, but you can't see it. That's same thing.
So spiritually, it is unclear, but legally, you are the same person, according to Hurston dynamics. Another point for them being evil.
No, they're
they mentioned that.
Someone
they're
needs
just
to
making
make
sure
these
that you
laws.
get to carry over your possessions. If
Yeah.
you're not legally the same person, then hey,
Well, they're not worried
I
about
get
your
this
possessions.
house.
They're worried about your work contract.
Well, I think it's unfair for you to just assume you know what they're worried about.
I mean, you can read it on the wall. It says regen is not a path out of your contract.
Well,
it says that at Maria Purifart. So legally, you're the same person.
Well, that's just protecting the company. I mean, look here. You got a company. You've got these contractors you're working for, right? Or you're giving out loans.
No, they're working
to
for
these
you.
guys. Yeah, but you're giving out loans to this guy, and then he's like, "Cool, I got my loan, sign the paperwork," and then he just jumps off the cliff. And then he respawns. He's like, "No, man, that wasn't me. That was the old me. That loan no longer applies." So from a business standpoint, I realize I'm kind of really on the side of business tonight, which is not my usual take, but it makes sense.
But
by the way,
if you couldn't remember
unions
it,
are
though.
a very important and vital part of the working relationship.
Yeah, but I made that deal after I had copied myself, so I don't remember making that contract with you. And I certainly wouldn't sign a contract with you. That was my other stuff. Like I'm not.
So I think I'm mistaken on that. I think if you don't regen for a while or you don't copy it recently, it's harder for the Echo to get back. So you'll get a more degraded version of yourself.
Oh, is that what it is?
Because people do remember. Like I remember there's a guy that goes to an outpost and he regens and he like killed 3 people and he's like, I'm trying to remember, was that it? And then it ends with like the 4th guy being behind him.
Yeah, but remember when they sold the Nursa? Remember the commercials that CIG put out?
Mm-hmm.
Where the guy goes into the bunker and he like respawns like on infinitum every time he screws up. He just and he responds right there. He has all his shit, and it's nothing like what they're talking about having to copy yourself or any of that, because that wouldn't make any sense.
Yeah, but a lot of that's marketing. Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's right.
Well,
I was gonna say, like, how often are you taking that RAV4 through the desert? You know, like how often are you taking that Subaru through like creeks in Vermont?
Yeah,
like,
but
they're in-game commercials.
Well, I have two
understood,
observations.
but they're literally marketing the killer app, the number one priority feature of that device. It's like saying, "Here's your iPhone that doesn't make phone calls." Just because we made a phone call in the commercial doesn't mean you can. You know, that doesn't make any sense.
That's what disclaimers for at the bottom. But this, I don't know if anyone has seen trailers for the movie coming out, Mickey 17, which is basically kind of about this, and also reminds me heavily of Hardship Shipbreakers.
I love that game.
I didn't see
Hard
that.
Spaceship. That's what. Yeah. And this is my thought is always there's going to be a huge need for therapists in the Star Citizen universe. Right. By about the 20th time that you've witnessed your insides being blown out or you've been spaced or whatever, you're going to need to talk to somebody about that.
That's the social gameplay they've been talking about.
That's what we need.
They'll sell like couches
CIG,
for.
This idea is free for you. You know, your next big ship commercial. Make it an 890 jump variant. There you go, 890 jump variant. The mental health facility. What do we call it?
That's a therapy lounge.
The 890 hug.
So
It's got like fluffy stuff.
Yeah. I gotta go. Dinner's about ready, so I gotta get going. But Frontier Fighters, we're a lie. Read your contracts. Don't listen to Hearst and Dynamics for Prosperity.
Who are you with?
Headhunters if I gotta. They're the only honest people out there.
If I gotta.
But Red Scar ultimately. Purple paints, man. I don't know why you're not going for the purple paints. Anyway, I'll talk to y'all later. Have a good one.
Later. Yep. Because I don't want to sacrifice my morals.
Just in this game, though. I mean, in real life's another matter, but in reverse.
My goodness. How do you pick and choose battles?
This has been great. This has been wonderful. Tav, I think it's time for another commercial break.
Brought to you by. What is the other one? The purple one?
No. We're only doing Creed to try this last time.
I thought the contract
look who's
was
in the
like for
audience.
the brand.
No. Cruz Lux.
I totally have the wrong.
That's what we do. We do Cruz Lux.
Script.
Jesus
I made the wrong script.
I can't believe it. I don't even know why I joined anymore.
Nobody asked you to write a script.
For the brand.
Wicked's gonna bomb your Corsair. That's what's gonna happen.
I need to speak with my therapist right now.
Oh, I know. Duke could be your therapist. He'll start talking to you about the tenets of capitalism.
I've been there. I've been a therapist. I've worked as a group therapist. I feel like I'm there right now.
Have you really?
I have. I worked at a psychiatric hospital.
What?
You're gonna get billed by the hour after this.
I don't recommend it.
That's wild. That makes sense, though.
But from the Empire's most trusted medical company, their True Life MedPen can rapidly dispense doses of the coagulant Hemazole during emergency situations to help relieve bleeding and improve a patient's overall vitals. Use only as recommended.
Is that a side effect of Cruz Lux?
That's all right.
That's a side effect of Cruz Lux. A positive.
A positive one.
What pen was that?
Cruz Lux.
A Cruz Lux pen?
Yeah.
Cruz Lux.
That's what I'm talking about. Okay.
If they spend any time making any more gadgets for the game, that should be one. A Cruz Lux Injecto pin. It just instantly revitalizes you.
No, how much is a Cruz Lux IV? Right, you wear
Or
a hat with the Cruz Lux
Cruz
on it,
Lux
but then it
vape.
goes down into an IV.
Cruz Lux. Well, I like the Cruz Lux pen because then you didn't have to take your helmet off. You can just, give yourself a little stab and you're
Yeah,
good
Well,
to
what
go.
about a helmet with like 3 Cruz Lux like attached to it,
Slurpees?
and you
Ooh.
just drink it?
Or it's
Or
Cruz
better,
Lux Lozenger that has like a long-lasting effect. Now
better
you're
yet, like
thinking.
the helmet should look like it's just full of Cruz Lux, and when you're thirsty, you just drink it. You're just breathing Cruz Lux, like the Abyss.
It is absolutely crazy that they haven't capitalized more on Cruz Lux.
It is. It's
Like-
like the drink.
Bro, Cruz Lux. Cruz Lux ship paints is an obvious, an obvious one, but Cruz Lux on your tractor beam, Cruz Lux like armor,
Like
jackets.
that.
The Daymar
Yeah.
Rally with your Cruz Lux livery
Yeah. Oh yeah.
on your
I
little
think we'll
go
definitely
kart.
see it once they implement like the the org paints and stuff like that. Guaranteed, they're going to start putting out some branded stuff.
I mean, all the racing ships, like the thing, you take a mission, right? And it's a mission from Cruz Lux, and it's just like a standing contract that for every race you win, while your ship has this Cruz Lux paint on it, Cruz Lux gives you a bonus,
Yeah,
and they give you like 200 Cruz Luxes.
Well, if we're going to keep decorating hangars, or once we get I don't see the point of decorating hangars. But like when we were
Yeah.
able to make habs, I want my Cruz Lux dispenser, a fountain
I think-
drink, Cruz Lux.
you can have your Cruz Lux dispenser at your Cruz Lux factory.
What if we just acquire all the Cruz Lux possible, and so you just have pallets, like giant
Yeah,
crates.
that needs to be there.
Cruz
There
Lux.
needs to be like one SCUI, 1 SCUI, 2 SCUI, 4 SCUI, all the way up to 32 SCUI Cruz Lux containers.
How much Cruz Lux can we put on a freight elevator? How much money do you have? Can we pool all our money and just buy it?
Just buy the largest
buy the Cruz-
supply of Cruz Lux.
and then we'll try to lift it on the cargo elevator and see what happens.
Well, that's I know we're talking a lot of Cruz Lux right now, but my one gauge every time there's like a new patch comes out, and if they have either a big reset or just the soft reset, the first thing I do, because I always spawn at Orison, the first thing I do is I go down to the mall at Orison to the Kelto and make sure I can buy Cruz Lux, because usually that will tell me if this patch is a success or a failure. Because if Cruz Lux is not purchasable at the Kelto at Orison, if I can't buy it, I already know I might as well log out and not come back for another week or two, because it's going to be a shit show.
That does explain your absences.
It's been pretty consistent too.
Wow, I think we've been pretty consistent. I think we've done it.
Somewhat.
You don't think that's it?
I mean, it could be it. I mean, yeah, no.
Is this because we don't have we have the theme song?
Oh, I want to hear it. That's really what I signed up here for, was to hear the theme song.
So thank you, Duke, and thank you, Wicket, and thank you, Broccoli, and thank you, Murphy Jack, and thank you, Frazzled Cat, and
Everyone.
did I forget anyone?
No.
Thank you all. Drake, Tav, play us out.
You do.
Do.
Until we get a real theme song, we're rolling with that.
I like that one. Thank you, everybody.
It works.
See ya. Thanks for having us.
And
Until
then
next time.
Till next time.
Buy more Cruz Lux.